Okay, so you're managing a share portfolio or ETF portfolio, might be in your super, or your personal name. We're going to go through, make sure it's tilted in the right direction to benefit from what's going to change very soon. So let's just start with the ASX 300. That's the chart we're looking at. So technically, we've hit a target measured move from this little rounded bottom here, and you can see we're struggling around this area to break through, and at the top of this big channel here. So our market's basically made up of two sectors, the banks and the miners. So let's have a look at them to see, can they push our ASX to new highs? Okay, so what we're looking at, this is the XFJ. So this is your banks and fund managers, whatnot. So you can see here that our banks have made a another target price measured move at the top of their channel. Hasn't broken. This is a rising channel. It's very bearish when that type of pattern gets broken down, and it's struggling to break through. And you think with all this home loan stuff due to negative gearing changes, less loans, less blah 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 blah, I think we've seen the peak in our banks too. I'm not saying they're going to crash, but I'm saying they're not going to add much value to the ASX 300. And if we actually do the ratio, so the financials, XKO is the ASX 300. So this is financials over the ASX 300. So since 2020, it's been basically adding value or outperforming the general market. You know, it goes through periods, so underperformance, overperformance, underperformance, overperformance. And if that was a share, would you be buying or selling that? If that was the chart of a share, now I wouldn't be buying that. I'd say that's neutral to down. So our financials are not going to contribute to the ASX 300 going up. All right. What about materials then? Okay, so materials are a bit of a different story. We've got a flagpole here, projected move. So we're not near that. We had hit an interim resistance flagpole around here, which you can see it's been stalling it. But you can see now we've got this big basing pattern. It's going ready to the starter's gate. So that's ready to rock and roll. It's actually, I started this channel, although I've moved to Substack now, back here in about April last year. And so our portfolios have been focused a lot in materials, and I guess that's why I'm doing this video, because we're about to go through one of these periods. Now, as a subsector of materials is the, I should compare, so XMJ to the XKO. So this is materials. So you can see here, underperformed, overperformed, underperformed. And if you can see back here in the 2000s, materials far way outperform the ASX 300. And you can see now we're about to head off in another outperformance. So I've got a projected move up. So expecting the materials to outperform the ASX 300 by that amount. Okay. Now, as a subsector of materials is the gold index. So this is your gold miners. And as you can see, the gold price. For example, we're buying gold back here. Got a bit wobbly at the beginning of the year, but we're now fully loaded, being bang, 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 buy, 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 buy. So gold is about to take off. So obviously that'll be positive for the gold miners. And if we just look at, say, the gold miners over the materials, make sure I have the ASX version. Yeah. Okay, so this is gold miners outperforming materials, and they had a bit of underperformance, and now we've got the gold miners outperforming materials, which I expect to continue, especially if that gold price keeps rocking and rolling. Okay, so we're getting a feel for, so if you look at XMJ over XFJ, so this is materials over financials. So again, you see materials outperforming financials, and they've actually been doing it since these are when I started the channel, materials outperforming financials, and they're set to break out of that pattern as well. So if all you're after is dividends, then stick with the banks. But if you're after growth, you want to be in materials and gold. So what about America then? Okay, so if we do the S&P 500 divided by, well, let's just compare it to the ASX 300. So SPX over XKO. Okay, so this is why you never want to be investing in Australia only. So S&P has been outperforming our index for forever. These are weekly charts we're looking at. So there's been a consolidation, but you can see our typical pattern is you have your little consolidation phase, and then you take off. So I'd say that's what's going to happen now. Okay, so what about if we look at S&P over the materials sector? Where is that? So tell us. So this is our material sector. Okay, so it paints a bit of a different story. You can see back here in 2000s, materials outperformed the S&P 500, and then ever since then, it's been S&P has been where you want to be, and really since when I started the channel last year, materials has been outperforming the S&P 500, and they're forming this lovely little bear flag here. So we've got extensions, flagpole, so that's the projected outperformance of our materials sector over the S&P 500. All right. So what about the goldies? So we know the so the same goes. I won't draw but you can see if that was a share, would you be buying or selling? You'd be selling, yeah. So that implies gold miners outperforming S&P 500. All right. And we do the same for the so what about the NASDAQ then? So NASDAQ divided by materials. Okay. So again, there's materials, a bit of outperformance. But then you want to be in there's a couple of periods here. So this is materials outperforming the NASDAQ. And we can see now where we're actually got one of those bear flags happening again. A rising wedge with a rounded top. You can see there. So that's saying good night, materials to. So this is our material, so our mining sector to outperform the NASDAQ. Okay, so if your portfolio isn't tilted towards resources, gold, energy, and it's then you're not going to get any sort of outperformance. So if you're interested in getting some assistance with portfolios, I've got 5. We'll just look at. So we've got our Ninja ASX 300. So this is pretty actively managed, but it means in Member Direct or Australian Super. You can buy all these. So you can see since July last year, we're just up over 200%. We've also got, so there's an ASX ETF model, dividend, ASX 300, a US ETF model portfolio, US shares. So like the US, US. So again, we started that one with the channel, April, so up 190%. And they're all, we're heavily, well, basically it's mainly resource focused ETFs and shares. So if you're interested in getting some help, in the description, there's all about, join us on Substack. We've got a great community who have each day, we do daily videos. I give out daily signals and they chat between themselves. So if you like investing and it's lonely, come join us. All right. Have a good one. See ya.